Catherine rises before the world does. At exactly 6 in the morning, when silence still wraps itself around the palace walls, she chooses stillness over luxury. There are no rushed footsteps, no trays of indulgence arriving at her bedside. Instead, there is a quiet woman sitting with her thoughts, preparing herself for a day that will demand both grace and strength. She has come to understand that this hour, untouched and uninterrupted, is not a privilege, but a necessity. It is what keeps her grounded when the weight of expectation grows heavy. As the first light gently enters through the tall windows, the calm transitions into motion. In the kitchen, the day truly begins. The soft hum of a blender replaces the stillness as Catherine prepares something far simpler than what most would imagine. A green smoothie. Kale, spinach, apples, and spirulina blend together into a vibrant drink that fuels her body without burdening it. It is a quiet discipline, a conscious rejection of excess, chosen not for appearance, but for endurance. Breakfast, however, tells a different story across the table. While Catherine prefers a bowl of oats with fresh berries, light yet sustaining, William leans towards something more traditional. Eggs, toast, and sometimes something richer sit on his plate. It is not indulgence, but practicality. A man aware of his own needs, balancing his responsibilities in his own way. In that simple contrast, their partnership quietly reveals itself. Two individuals, different yet aligned, each respecting the rhythm of the other. As the morning responsibilities unfold into a structured afternoon, Catherine's approach to food remains deliberate. Lunch is not hurried, nor is it excessive. It is thoughtful. A bowl of quinoa paired with roasted vegetables becomes more than just a meal. It becomes a reflection of balance. The colors on her plate mirror the clarity she seeks in her day. Each ingredient serves a purpose, offering nourishment without heaviness, energy without distraction. On warmer days, she leans towards simplicity even further. A light soup, smooth and refreshing, replaces anything dense. It allows her to move through her engagements without the weight that often follows traditional meals. There is an understanding in her choices, a quiet awareness of how the body responds, how energy shifts, how focus can either sharpen or fade depending on what is consumed. William, on the other hand, remains rooted in familiarity. His choices often reflect comfort, something steady in a world that is constantly shifting. A simple baked potato, filled modestly, becomes a reminder of normalcy. It is not about grandeur, it is about grounding. Even within the walls of royalty, there exists a need for something that feels real, something that does not demand attention but simply satisfies. Beyond titles and public appearances, Catherine's most defining role reveals itself quietly in the way she cares for her children. The preparation of their meals is not delegated, it is personal. Each lunchbox carries intention, filled not with convenience, but with care. Whole foods, fresh vegetables, simple sandwiches, these are not just choices, they are lessons. She understands that habits are formed early, that the smallest routines shape the strongest foundations. By offering her children food that is natural and nourishing, she is teaching them discipline without force, awareness without pressure. There is no excess, no unnecessary sweetness. Even treats are thoughtful, measured and meaningful. More importantly, she invites them into the process. Small hands helping in the kitchen, small tasks completed with care, these moments matter. They build not only skills, but character. In these quiet lessons, Catherine ensures that her children grow not just with privilege, but with understanding, that even in a life of abundance, effort and appreciation must never be lost. As the day begins to slow, the atmosphere within the home changes. Formality fades, replaced by warmth. The evening tea is not a display of tradition, but a moment of connection. Together they gather, not as public figures, but as a family. There is laughter, small imperfections, and the kind of chaos that only shared moments can bring. Catherine values this time deeply. It is here that the distance created by a busy day disappears. Baking together, preparing simple snacks, engaging in small acts of creation, these are not tasks, but bonds being strengthened. She believes that connection is not built through perfection, but through presence. Dinner, however, holds its own significance. It is protected, almost sacred. There are no distractions, no interruptions from the outside world. Conversations take center stage. Each voice is heard, each moment acknowledged. It is in these exchanges that the family truly reconnects, away from expectations, away from scrutiny. The food itself remains simple yet meaningful. Meals are prepared with care, often reflecting comfort and familiarity. A gentle curry, a plate of pasta, nothing extravagant, yet everything intentional. And occasionally, a dessert appears, carrying with it a sense of memory, not just sweetness, but history, shared spread quietly across the table. As the night settles in and the day reaches its quiet end, what remains is not the image of royalty, but the essence of a life lived with intention. Catherine's approach is not defined by restriction or excess, but by balance. She does not chase extremes, nor does she deny herself entirely. Instead, she listens to her body, to her needs, to the rhythm of her life. Her choices are not extraordinary. In fact, they are remarkably simple, and perhaps that is where their power lies. A glass of water in the morning, a meal prepared with care, a moment shared without distraction. These are things available to anyone, yet often overlooked. In the end, what defines this household is not wealth or status, but presence. The willingness to show up, to care, to create moments that matter. Through food, through routine, through quiet discipline, Catherine builds something far more lasting than perfection. She builds connection, and in that there is a quiet lesson, that the true measure of a life well lived is not found in what is displayed to the world, but in what is nurtured behind closed doors.